Folks, this is in the car. This is the windshield. It's bolted into the car. I've been worrying about doing this job for months, and I was able to get it done. And I was able to get it done in large part because of my father's favorite coil of rope. This is my dad's favorite coil of rope. He loved this rope. This is line from his sailboat when he was in high school. His Lightning. And this is the went up the mast up for hauling the mainsail up and down. And he did his little, all of his keeping the ends all nice and served and neat and everything else like that. But anyway, these stupid windshields have this big ass seal here, like this, and this flap, when you get it, the flap is curled underneath it, and you have to find a way to kind of get the flap out. I was trying to do it before I bolted the windshield in, and that never worked. I'd get the flap out, and then as I'm trying to get the things in, it just wouldn't work. So I realized that if I bolted the windshield in first, I could then do the trick, which is that you feed the rope into the gap. So this flap here was underneath like this, and the rope is going in here. And then you pull out from both sides, and it goes thwap. And I remember Dad telling me about that process, telling me about rope. I don't know that he de-used this rope, but this is this lovely nylon rope, and it's very smooth, and it worked great. If Dad were around, he would be delighted. Not only that I value the rope, of course, but that I'm getting things done. I've done a lot. I've done a lot since the last Greenbean video, but it feels to me like every time I do something, the next things I need to do get really, really, really big. Come on, open up. My pole works. I don't have my holder upper on the hood yet, but all the lining are in. I couldn't find the spring, the Greenbean spring, so I had to use the one from the GT. That's why it's orange. All this stuff is bolted together. Connections so far seem tight. She starts up. I have I got that adjusted correctly. There's a bunch of stuff I've got to do now. Here's my current list. Changing the diff fluid is going to be trouble because the two, they're not bolts. They're inset 1/4-inch holes, slightly smaller than 1/4-inch. So I've got to get a piece of square bar stock to make a tool for this thing. It's just stupid. That should just be annoying more than anything. Put in console. Oh yeah, that's the under part that has the radio in it. That shouldn't be too terrible. I have to fix the sprayer head because it's all safety stuff. So I've got to have windshield washer fluid, and it's got to be able to make it onto the glass. Bolt and dash. I haven't done that yet. There's something wrong with the Speedo or the Speedo cable. I'm not sure which. I got to put in the second 3-point belt. I'm going to use an old one, not get one of the new ones right yet because they're really expensive. Passenger seat, I just started looking at. I should drive the car. I need to drive the car. I have the rear view mirror. I've just got to sort of jerry-rig it up. Door cards, I don't know if safety is going to involve having the door cards done. Oh, and the valence. Yeah, I got to get the valence. It goes under there. I don't have it. I have had some other amazing Triumphs. Driver's seat is in. Here's my new retracto belt. These are the actual mounts right there. These are the actual mounts. Only in a brief period in 68 and 69, the over-the-shoulder mounts were here instead of on the wheel well. I wish they were on the wheel well. What are you going to do? I don't know. We're coming along. We're getting there. Ever so slowly. Yeah, I've got to do the other floor. I gotta put in this. This is the old back passenger. It's amazing the stuff I've managed to do. The insulation that's in there. Oh, geez, I've got to do the batteries. I realize that's another safety item. I got to strap the batteries down. And that's kind of a big deal. I could just imagine there, standing there with the police officers doing my safety inspection, and he asks, "Hey, are your batteries down?" And I say, "No," and that would be an instant fail. I don't want that. Here's where the console goes. I'm really annoyed about the Speedo. I mean, it's not going to be that big of a pain in the ass, but I'm afraid that it's going to turn out that the cable is bad, because I think the Speedo is good. I don't know. Oh, and I got a new appointment for my safety inspection. I got a new appointment in town and pushed back a little bit. So now I'm into August for when I have to do that test, because my original safety test was yesterday, and believe me, I would not have made it. Honestly, I'm a little scared about whether or not I'm going to be able to make this August date. I hope to God I can. It's just everything I touch is not nearly as simple. Everything I touch involves like 7 more steps than it's supposed to. It just takes a lot of time. I wouldn't be rushing if I didn't have to get this thing ready and on the road, but I do. I have it all ready to go. Okay, so that's my current update for Greenbean. Okay, thank you. Well, I actually got some more work done today. I had a lot to do this week. I did a lot of stuff this week. I gave myself some time today to work. I got the passenger seat in. That's bolted in. And I created a rig for the rear view mirror, which I'm pretty proud of. It looks pretty quasi-official. You know, that worked out pretty well. So now I've got a rear view mirror. I don't know what I'm going to do about that Speedo. I think I'm going to have to go up in the attic and get the Speedo out of the other dash that's up there and pull that down and see what I can get. I think I'm going to have to switch Speedos or check something out. Or I suspect I'm going to have to get a speedometer cable, because that one I did notice is that it wasn't perfect. It wasn't center turning like this. It was warped. I don't know. Anyway, and then next thing I'm really seriously thinking about the batteries. Get those battery tie downs done. Oh, one thing's a bummer. You can't really see it. There's 2 little holes in there in the underneath, and then 2 big holes here, right? There's a brace that goes in there. It's just pop riveted to the windshield, but I forgot to put it on, and it's supposed to bolt down there, and I'm sure as hell not pulling this windshield again. So I'm just gonna hope and pray, and if in fact it doesn't work out the way I need, well, then I guess I'll pull the windshield and we'll go from there. Oh, lastly, okay, so this is the rubber I was having all this trouble with, right? Here is a side piece of that rubber. So when you install it, oh, and that's just a freaking bear, because you got this whole long thing and you gotta slide it along, sliding it in. You're not even supposed to be able to do it as easily as I did it, which was I bonked off. This whole frame comes apart, and I bonked off. It was the other side, and I was able to feed the whole thing in using personal lubricant to do it. It worked great, actually. But then that whole thing is in. You can see here's the part right here. That slides into a slot. And then here is darn it, there's the squisher that's against the body. And this is that flap right there. So the flap is reversed, and you see it's got that bigger aperture right there. And that goes, I don't know that I can do this with my thumb. So like that. And that way, when the seal is in place and it's sitting here, you can you pull the rope out and it'll flatten. I don't think there's a way for me to do this. Well, you're just gonna have to pretend that I did. But I'm sure you get the idea. You pull the rope out and it opens up this thing, which then sits flat like that. And you're able to then pull that rope. Pull that rope, like just like that. And then it goes, boop, out it comes. So, I don't know, pretty decent day, all told. It's almost starting to look like a car. Okay. Thank you.